Hey guys, welcome to a new At the Movies with me and Ingrid as we're going over Predator, Killer of Killers. This came up,
Woo!
this came up, and one kind of fitting because we went over that Predator marathon. I should have thought about this, but I didn't. But we
Mm-hmm.
both saw it and we both really want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was your overall thoughts? You go over first and I'll go over mine.
I really enjoyed it. I honestly had no idea this movie existed until a couple of friends in one of my gaming groups said, "Hey, let's go watch it." And I'm like, "Hey, I've seen all of the other Predator movies. Why not watch this one too?" And I was really blown away with how much I enjoyed it. I thought it brought a lot of unique stuff to the series. The
Yep,
animation and the looks really gorgeous, and it's got a lot of unique and interesting characters to follow. And it gave us like a look into the actual culture of the Predators that I
yep,
didn't expect to see in this format.
yep, the Yosta, as they're known as.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that is directed by the same guy who directed Prey.
Mm-hmm.
That
Which
probably
it
helped a lot.
definitely shows. I also like how they kind of did a thing where they gave you like a couple of different characters that you
Hmm.
saw all of their individual stories first, and then you saw them all come together at the end. And like each
Yep,
of the original stories are all really compelling for different reasons, and then it's fun to watch them play off each other and essentially become a found family by the time the credits roll.
yep. Like for example, we start off in the let's just say Viking era. That's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, as we're following this badass warrior woman.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, I'm just reloading up so I can definitely make sure I got all the names right.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ursa.
Ursa, yes.
Yep, a
Mama
Viking.
Bear, quite literally.
Yep, a Viking shield maiden. And but she's a mama bear, but then also a death seeker because of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she is on a quest protecting her son and everything. And I just find that so interesting as we just see what led to this for her.
Mm-hmm. It's just like there's a whole bunch of drama about her family being disgraced by the hands of what looked like some kind of a local noble who is probably some kind of proto-Russian.
Probably. But yeah. And then but they're being followed.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, then we get but then our son gets struck by the predator. And it's
Mm-hmm.
a big boy.
Oh yeah, big and brawny. I really like how each of the different predators that each of the people fight in each of these like stories that leads up to the bigger one are all very different in personality and all very fitting to the people they end up being pitted up against.
Yep, and I like how it's taking advantage of it being animated because there's no way in hell you'd be able to do this live action. This has been shown in
Mm-hmm.
comics, but yeah, the Scandinavian predator is just too big for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just really good. Just wow, puts up a big, brave effort, is able to stop it, but at the loss of her son.
Yeah, and that just hits you like a truck, where it's just like, for all of her strength, for all of her capability that was shown, she wasn't able to protect the one that she cared about
Mhm.
most. And that really sticks with her character throughout the rest of the movie.
Yep, but yeah, she puts up a brave fight, and she's one of the most badass women in the
Mm-hmm.
like I put her right up there with from Prey. You know what I mean? Who I mean?
Mm-hmm. And actually, in the same movie night we did, we actually watched like the Comanche dub of Prey, which was really good.
Nice. But yeah, but it's a shame. Yeah, she lost the child, and then we get into the more
We get
Japanese.
into the samurai times. And I
Yep.
really like how they put an emphasis on like a more archaic form of Japanese, but most of it is the communication in this bit is
Mhm.
done without any dialogue.
Right, right, right. But yeah, just so interesting. You
Yep, you
know,
see
and
this tale of two brothers who are kind of put under the expectations of a very overbearing father figure who kind of instigated a lot of the bad stuff that happens there and creating a rift between the two of them.
definitely, definitely. It's a sad thing that they do. If they that they that there were people like this back in the day.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a shame.
Yeah, but then that ends up creating a very interesting dynamic with the Predator, who is more of a crafty son of a bitch.
Yeah, really. So I mean, a lot of predators can be.
But this guy is especially so. Like, he's just devious with some of these plays.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I like it how there's a case where the whole thing is killer of killers, but I do like how the people we are focusing on are legit good people. It's mostly those around them. Not all, but a large number of them are the ones who are not as noble.
Hmm.
Now, what did you think though about how this was the shorter one of the stories?
Mm. I definitely would have liked to see a little bit more of this, so that's definitely my bias for being a fan of like actual Japanese culture and history. But I did
Agreed.
like how it gave a very satisfying emotional arc with the two brothers where they got to take down the predator together and kind of resolve their emotional issues before one of
Yeah,
them passed on.
agreed. Agreed. So at least that was resolved. I mean, I'll say this. There is a little bit of a cliche-ness to it, but not a bad cliche.
Yeah, it's just like it's a formula that works.
Yep. The fact that he was about ready to commit seppuku, I mean, it's clear he was.
Yeah.
But then he's captured, and then we're in the 40s.
Yep.
And,
World War II, and this time we've got a guy who's a pilot.
yep. And I like him for his personality than anything else.
Yeah, it's like he's clearly the party face here. It's like he's young, he's a little bit foolhardy, but he knows how to talk a good talk.
Yep. But I also like how he's dealing with a predator who's more tech savvy and more technological.
Oh yeah, this is probably like one of the most unique predators we've seen. For one, bald, bald,
Yep,
bald,
bald.
but this time we have somebody who has a very different idea of taking trophies. He's more interested in like the various technology than he
Yeah,
is in like taking body parts and skulls, and that just kind of feels natural because it's like
yeah,
imagine that if there's a whole people, they wouldn't be entirely homogenous. Like,
yeah,
obviously, there are gonna be norms, but there's also gonna be weirdos like this guy, and it's kind of almost an
yeah.
interesting way to see, like, hey, there's a lot of different unique technology across the universe, and I imagine that at least one of them would be nerdy enough to be interested in that. And it
Agreed.
also ends up creating a very different dynamic because now we're not fighting on the ground, we're fighting in ships.
Yep, definitely. It was definitely a unique handling of things. And again, it was clever, it was unique, but you also know, given how the Yousta worked, that he has to be the sole survivor.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, it was pretty obvious that his commanding officer or mentor was gonna succumb to the mentor death curse. But
Yep.
I don't think that they executed on it as poorly as they could
No.
have.
Now, I also, one thing I love about the animation is look at this. Every time I pause this, you almost feel like this is a still frame, doesn't it?
Yeah, the animation is really, really good. You can tell it definitely took some pages out of Arcane's book, but it also has
Yeah.
its own unique style to it.
I mean, just look at this. Doesn't this look more like a still image from a book or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you might get, but this is a case where like, no, this actually feels like someone just drew it, just one image.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's what I love about these type of animations when they look like that, where it looks like a still frame.
Mm-hmm. Where they take full advantage of the fact that it's an animation and not live action.
Yep. Then of course you have the fact that they're all being brought into an arena to fight against the warlord of this clan. This is not the king overall. This is just the leader of this war band.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually connected to the predator from Prey.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but the fact that
Which which I can forgive the director for doing that. It's like creating a bit of continuity within your own work. It's fun.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot would. But yeah, the fact that they don't know, and they don't understand each other. Oh, he was given
Ah, yes.
the pistol.
Oh yeah. Some of my
It's probably
friends have
explained.
commented that the gun is its own character at this point.
This probably explains then how this will eventually make its way to Danny Glover's hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it probably explains what happened.
Yeah. It's a
But,
very fun dynamic that almost none of the characters know how to speak one another's languages, with the small exception of our last character speaking just a tiny bit of Japanese that is nonetheless like doesn't congrue much with the ancient version.
I love it. You dance like a weasel.
And also how they do different texts for each of the characters as subtitles. It gives so much personality to it.
Now, I will say this though, if I have one downside, it's how John is able to do a lot of stuff off screen that you're like, a bullshit.
Yeah, that is a little bit.
Contrived. Like it felt like, okay, what happened? How did he? How? But yeah, I mean, I like this whole bit. Like, yeah, do it. Send me to Valhalla to join my son. And I don't think he understood what she said, but he could understand the tone.
Yes, which is like you can totally believe due to their own cultural contexts.
Exactly. But then a fight against the warlord. You know what I mean? And I love that. And I do love how John is able to figure out the tech because he's a pilot.
Yeah.
So, yep, and then just big fight, but they're held on. So what does she do? She says, "Don't come for me. Do not avenge me." Slides down and takes them out so they can get away. This is going to come into play at a later point. I just know it.
I also like how she called him the Grendel King because it's like, that's a direct tie-in with Beowulf, and that would make a lot of sense for him to read it, for her to read them as that.
Yeah, exactly. All your sorceries and hell trinkets. But she doesn't die. Like, let's go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And, this had to be, you knew this had to be done because otherwise everyone's like, how are they going to do anything else when she's so far in the past?
But it's like, cryo sleep.
Yep, that was the only way.
Yeah, it's like, I can forgive that with the quality we've gotten so far, and they've given us a clear hook for a sequel to this.
But they did have to retcon how things worked by having it be that they do abduct those who win. When again, it used to be a case of, here's your trophy, you won. And then leave them be, unless they came after them. Now it's
of course there could also potentially be the explanations that different clans of predators kind of treat things differently. That is kind of one way you could potentially reconcile that.
That is true. That is very true. But still, though, this was this felt like a continuation of Prey in many ways.
Yeah, it's like we have the themes of like going through a lot of different historical periods and other cultures. So it very much keeps that thematic through line.
And the next movie is what to take place during World War One.
Ooh, that ought to
Yep.
be a lot of fun. There's a lot of things you could do with that.
Yep, which will be called Badlands.
Aha! Do we have any idea on when that's set to release yet?
Later this year.
Oh damn, that's soon. We'll definitely have to see and go over that one.
Yep, and it says here, in the future, on a remote planet, a young predator, outcast from his clan, finds an unlikely ally in Thea, this is where they connect things with the other universe, a young android created by Wayland Yutani.
Oh shit!
You didn't see that trailer?
Oh no, I haven't. I've been busy with 10 other things.
Yeah, so they are more direct, doing an indirect crossover.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Yep, and it's just so exciting just waiting for this. And again, same director and everything, Dan Trachtenberg, who worked on 10 Cloverfield Lane. That was his first movie.
Ah!
Yeah, in fact, he went from that, then he worked on his very next movie then was Prey.
Ah!
Oh, but he did do a Portal fan film.
Oh, okay. I might have to check that out on my own time.
Actually, I'll show you a little of it right now. It's really good. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Yeah, there's no audio. I mean, there is audio, but there's no dialogue. Yeah, there's supposed to be a bit of a more giving a narrative of the portal. Oh, come on. I love it though, her working out, getting her.
Oh yeah, I can feel that. I would try to do what I could to keep myself entertained in an isolation chamber like that.
Yep. And the actress, by the way, is Danielle Ryan here. What is she been? She's been.
She definitely makes a good shell.
Definitely with the look. And then she's got the portal gun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at this effects. She's just figuring it out. I mean, I did the same thing, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Hello. Oh. Yep, gets out and. Oh. And look, she does the toss.
Ooh.
But then, the fan made, theory. Oh. Noobs and everything. So how was that? Same director.
That was really good.
Yep, you could definitely see a lot of elements, right?
Yeah.
Seriously, this guy is so good with this type of stuff. Just like the guy who did Romulus.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for the follow-up to Romulus. I cannot
I am
wait.
so excited for the follow-up to Romulus.
I have faith in both directors that they
Yeah,
can
it's
do
like
things
if they
right.
end up leading into a whole new era for both the Alien and the Predator franchises, then I'd say we're eating good for the next few years.
Exactly, exactly. And the fact that I think what's going to make this work out better than say Star Wars or the MCU is that it's just the two directors running it. It's not just one person telling them what to do. It's
And
two
it's
directors.
clear they both have a passion for the property in question.
Exactly. They both have a big fan, like they're big fans of the property.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I am just so stoked. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about. These are very basic movie and so shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that? Like, if that's the one bit of criticism is that it's basic,
Yeah, but it's like it's
but
a
not
basic
bad.
dish well made. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Yep, same here. Exact same here. Just really loved it. I want to see another one like this. If this is going to be like the interlude movies, I say do it.
Yes. And perhaps we might get one of the best Alien versus Predator movies we've seen yet out of this fusion.
Especially if they have both directors doing it.
Yeah, that would be juicy.
They would need both directors involved. I mean, again, the fact that we're having a Weyland-Yutani android in the
It's like
New Badlands.
they're setting it up. They're setting it up.
They're pretty much they're not even just going to be like a little, we're going to be cheeky. No, we're being direct.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Ingrid. Thanks to everyone else, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.